everyone, today we're going to have the special right triangle and trigonometry. So we are going to determine the exact value for sine 30, tangent 30, and cosine 30. We're going to use the lesson that we did in the previous section that talks about how to find the side length or the angle using sine ratio, tangent ratio, or cosine ratio. So there was an acronym given. The acronym was SOHCAHTOA. So Ka and TOA. It means that sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So we did this in a separate, we have a separate video for this. So I would encourage you to go back to the video if you have forgotten it. So, but these are the trigonometric ratios. So looking at this, we're supposed to look for sine 30, cosine 30, tangent 30. So we're looking for 30 here. That's the angle. So from 30, we can therefore conclude that 1 over square root of 3 is the opposite of 30. So that's the opposite of 30. The 1 here is the adjacent of 30. And then the 2 squared over square root of 3 is the hypotenuse. So we're going to write hypotenuse there. So then we are ready to solve for sine 30. So this is how it's going to work. So we know that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So I can go ahead and write sine 30 degrees is equal to what is my opposite over hypotenuse. The opposite is 1 over square root of 3. And then the hypotenuse is 2 over square root of 3. We have a complex fraction. Complex fraction means a fraction on top, a fraction at the bottom. So in order that we can simplify this, we copy the fraction on top, that is 1 over square root of 3 times, flip the bottom. Flip this, that should come out square root of 3 over 2. And then multiply them across. So we can therefore see that we're going to cross out the square root of 3 and square root of 3. So then our answer for this is 1/2. So sine of 30 is 1/2. So this is 1 over 2. Now let's check using the calculator to see what is sine 30. Is it really equal to 1/2? So we have here sine of 30 is this number right here, 0.5. Now we're going to divide 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So sine 30 is just 1/2 because both of them are 0.5. Now let's go to cosine 30. So it's pretty much the same thing. So we're going to write the equation for cosine 30 here. So this is cosine of 30 degrees. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So what is the adjacent in this problem? That's 1 right there. Over the hypotenuse is 2 over square root of 3. Again, just like how we did it over here, flip the bottom. So I write 1 times. I flip the bottom, that would be square root of 3 over 2. And then I multiply across. So 1 times square root of 3 is square root of 3 over 2 is the exact value for cosine 30. Now let's check if they're going to be a match. So first, cosine of 30. So that is the value for cosine of 30 in decimal form. Now let's have this put into the calculator. Let's see if they're going to match up. So square root of 3 divided by 2 is the same value. So cosine of 30 is actually square root of 3 over 2. Okay, let's move on to tangent. We're going to do it all together. So tangent here is tangent of 30 degrees is equal to TOA, opposite over adjacent. So we're looking at 30. The opposite is 1 over square root of 3 divided by adjacent is 1. So 1 over square root of 3 opposite over adjacent. So that means this is just 1 over square root of 3. So then we can go ahead. Just a reminder, please remember that radicals don't want to be at the bottom. So that means we need to multiply this by square root of 3 times square root of 3 so that we can we don't have a radical at the bottom here. So this would be square root of 3 over square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. And so this would come out square root of 3 square root of 9 is 3. So this is the final answer for tangent 30, square root of 3 over 3. Now let's check if we get the same value as this. So we have tangent 30. So that's the number right there. I'm going to put this in square root of 3 divided by 3. They should be a match, and they are. Okay? Now, at this time, I would encourage you to pause this video and try this problem out on your own. And when you're done, and pause it and check your answer. Okay, this time around, we still have the same setup here, but this time around, we're not looking for 30 degrees. We're looking for 60. So it's going to be on this side. That means 1 is our opposite now. And then 1 over square root of 3 is our adjacent. And 2 square root of 3 is our hypotenuse. So let's look at the value for sine 60. Again, remember, sine is... So again, we have a formula that we did on a previous video that is SO, Ka, and TOA. So that means sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. So this is the this is the acronym that we need to remember. So in this case here, we have sine 60 degrees is equal to, so opposite, what's the opposite here? 1 over the hypotenuse is 2 over square root of 3. Again, we flip the bottom and multiply across. So that's 1 times square root of 3 over 2. So then our final answer here is 1 times square root of 3 is square root of 3 over 2 is our sine 60 degrees. So square root of 3 over 2. So let's check using the calculator. Sine 60. So sine 60, the decimal version for that is this. Now let's put this in. Square root of 3 divided by 2. And the answer is a match. So let's have the cosine. By the way, did you get the same answer as this? Square root of 3 over 2? Perfect. Good. Now let's have the cosine of 60. So that is cosine of 60 degrees is equal to, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. The adjacent for this is, that's 1 over square root of 3. And then the hypotenuse is 2 over square root of 3. So then again, we are going to write the numerator, 1 over square root of 3 times, flip the bottom, square root of 3 over 2. So then we can cross out the square root of 3 and square root of 3. So then we're left with 1 over 2. So cosine of 60 is 1/2. Now let's see if they would match up on the calculator. So that is cosine of 60. And then, so that's 0.5. So 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So this is 1/2. Did you get 1 over 2 as your answer for this? Good. Perfect. Now let's have the last one. So that is tangent 60 degrees is equal to TOA, opposite. So what's the opposite? 1 over, adjacent is 1 over square root of 3. So then we flip that around. So that would be 1 times, switch it, flip it, and multiply across. Square root of 3 over 1. So the answer is 1 times square root of 3 is just square root of 3 over 1. So we can just keep it as square root of 3. So this is square root of 3. So let's see if tangent 60 is equal to square root of 3. So we have tangent 60. That's the decimal version. And then if we have square root of 3, they should be a match. And they are. Did you get square root of 3 for this? Good. Perfect. If you find this video helpful, hit like and subscribe for more math videos. See ya!